Let me tell you something that might sting a little, but will set you free. You don't lack motivation. You were never lazy. You were never weak. And you were never undisciplined the way they made you believe. You just don't know where you're going. And how can a man run with fire in his chest when his path is covered in fog? How can you give your all to something you don't fully understand? Think about this carefully. If I blindfolded you, spun you around 100 times, and then told you to run toward your dream life, would you blame yourself for not getting there? Or would you realize you were never given direction in the first place? That's what most people are doing. Running hard, trying their best, burning energy, but moving nowhere, not because they're incapable, but because they're unclear. We've been sold a lie. That motivation is the answer. That if you just watch enough videos, listen to enough speeches, feel enough hype, you'll suddenly become unstoppable. But let me ask you something honestly. How long does motivation last? A day? An hour? Sometimes just a few minutes. Motivation is like a gust of wind. It can push you forward for a moment, but it cannot carry you all the way towards your dream life. Imagine setting sail across a vast ocean. No map, no destination, no idea where land even is. Would you feel motivated, or would you feel lost, drifting, uncertain, watching your energy slowly drain as the days pass? Now imagine something different. You have a map. You know exactly where you're headed. Every wave you cross, every storm you survive, has meaning. Now your struggle isn't random, it's progress. Think of a man standing in an open space. He has bricks, he has tools, he has time, but no blueprint. So he builds randomly. A wall here, a pillar there, maybe a doorway that leads nowhere. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and eventually he looks at what he's built and feels nothing, no pride, no purpose, just exhaustion. Now another man stands in the same field, same tools, same bricks, same time, but this man has something different, a vision. He knows he's building a home. He can see it in his mind, the shape, the structure, the meaning behind every corner. So when he lays a brick, it's not random, it belongs. And even when his hands ache, even when the sun burns his skin, he keeps going, because he's not just working, he's creating something that he understands and matters to him. And maybe this is where you are, not broken, not incapable, just tired of building things that don't feel like yours. You start habits, but abandon them. You set goals, but lose interest. You try to stay disciplined, but it feels forced, and it frustrates you, because deep down, you know you're meant for more. But here's the truth that most people never hear. You don't lack consistency. You lack conviction, and conviction only comes from clarity. Now listen. If something inside you is starting to wake up right now, don't ignore it. Hit that like button, not for me, but as a signal to yourself that you're ready to think differently. Subscribe to this channel, because this is where we don't just chase temporary motivation. We build something deeper, something that lasts. And I want you to pause for a second. Go down to the comments and write, I choose clarity, because sometimes the smallest declaration is the beginning of the biggest change. Let's go deeper. Clarity is not saying, I want to be successful. That's vague. That's empty. Clarity is knowing, what does success actually look like for me? What kind of life do I want to wake up to? What kind of person do I need to become to live that life? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your level of understanding. Every path has a price. You want freedom, it costs uncertainty. You want success, it costs comfort. You want growth, it costs ease. And if you haven't chosen your cost, you'll run the moment you feel pain, because you'll think something is wrong. But when you have clarity, you expect the pain, you accept it, you even respect it, because now it's part of the deal you consciously chose. Climbing a mountain without knowing why feels like punishment. Your legs burn, your lungs ache, and every step feels heavier than the last. But climbing a mountain with purpose, that's transformation. Now every step is a statement. I'm getting closer. The pain doesn't disappear, but it changes meaning, and meaning changes everything. Let's talk about discipline. People treat it like a punishment, like something you have to force yourself into. But real discipline is alignment. It's what happens when your actions match your values. When you know what matters, you don't need willpower to avoid distractions. You naturally move away from them. Because why would you trade something meaningful for something that only feels good for a moment? Life will still test you. Storms will come. Doubt will creep in. But clarity is your compass. Without it, storms will spin you in circles. With it, even when you're pushed off course, you can always find your way back. At some point, this stops being about goals and becomes about identity. You're no longer someone trying to stay motivated. You become someone who builds, who shows up, who continues even when it's hard. Not because you're forcing yourself, but because it's who you are now. So hear this clearly. You don't need another burst of motivation. You don't need another speech, another quote, another temporary high. You need clarity so deep that it anchors you, a reason so strong that quitting feels like walking away from your own life. Because once you truly understand your path, effort stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like purpose. So don't rush after this video ends. Sit with yourself in silence and ask, what am I really building? Not what the world expects, not what looks good, not what sounds impressive, but what feels true. Because once you find that, everything changes. You won't need motivation anymore, because you'll finally understand why you started. Now, I'll leave you with this as a reminder. Stay patient with yourself. Stay honest to yourself. And keep building yourself. You'll get there.